Minecraft is the most popular game to ever exist and is still being played every day by millions of people worldwide. There are thousands of communities with dedicated servers that bring many people together just to play Minecraft. But some like to exploit, dox, and even hurt real-life people in these Minecraft communities due to internal affairs. And also some with a higher following who have a dedicated YouTube channel and established fanbase use their power and trust to manipulate their younger audiences and participate in rather heinous actions. As Minecraft is a game that is catered to everyone, but mostly for younger audiences who can easily be taken advantage of. But it's not always about grooming. It's not like Roblox where literally every criminal case involves some sort of kid. Minecraft also has that, but it also has terrorism and death threats, yada yada. Actually, speaking of terrorism, our first criminal that goes by the name of Nikita Uvarov, a 16-year-old Russian along with his two other friends who plan to blow up the Federal Security Service building by reenacting it in Minecraft. Uvarov and his two other buddies in the Siberian city of Kansk, I hope I said that right, were detained in the summer of 2020 for spreading leaflets in support of a Moscow anarchist activist who was on trial for vandalism. And that's why freedom of speech is important, not necessarily in this specific situation because they're supporting an anarchist, but in Russia, they will literally lock you up if you start saying or start supporting some crazy stuff. Well, one of these leaflets that they had been distributing was put on the Federal Security Service building, which is Russia's powerful domestic security agency and essentially the successor to the Soviet-era KGB. In other words, it's basically an FBI building, but in Russia. When these kids were detained, the police searched their phones and happened to find a plan to blow up the Federal Security Service building by reenacting an exact replica in Minecraft. And according to investigators, the teenagers were also learning to make improvised explosive devices and practice detonating them in abandoned buildings. The kids were initially faced with even more extreme charges. For example, they wanted to charge them with participating in a terrorist organization, but soon dropped it due to the lack of evidence. He pleaded not guilty to the charges and claimed repeatedly that he was not a terrorist. Uvarov reported in the court that there was pressure from authorities during the investigation and denied planning to blow anything up. A military court in Siberia sentenced 16-year-old Nikita Uvarov to 5 years in a penal colony on charges of training for terrorist activities. Even though he technically didn't blow anything up and nothing was written in stone that he planned to terrorize the Federal Security Service building, but Russia has a pattern of putting young people behind bars for anything remotely close to preemptive terrorism. And for his other two buddies, they were cleared from any charges due to their cooperations with investigators. Yeah, they basically snitched. Now, it might have been a little too harsh to arrest a 16-year-old for 5 years, but if it is true that he was supporting an anarchist and was testing explosives in abandoned buildings, it probably would be safe for society to keep him in jail, if we're being honest. It's just the fact that he used Minecraft to recreate the Federal Security Service building. It basically told the authorities, hey, maybe this guy who believes in crazy shit and plays with bombs for fun might actually blow up this government building. Anyways, enough about that guy. Next, we'll talk about a famous Minecraft YouTuber by the name of Jakishi. He was a part of Dream's community and SMP. Jakishi grew in popularity due to Dream's help, and soon after there were rumors and allegations spreading throughout the community about Jakishi having sexual relations with minors. There were over 40 individuals who came forward to tell their side of the story on how Jakishi would engage in inappropriate conversations, sexual comments, and grooming behavior. Some of them were as young as 12 years old, and due to his popularity, he would interact with many underage individuals and do some pretty disgusting things. He would push minors to have sexual discussions along with requesting self-portrait photos of them without clothes, often under the guise of close friendship. The allegations spread extremely fast and led to Jakishi's termination from the SMP, and 2 days after so, Dream confirmed the allegations were true by Jakishi himself due to him admitting so in private Discord messages. Ever since the allegations first started to pop up, it has been radio silence from Jakishi since. He completely deleted his YouTube and Twitch channel and neither has posted on Twitter or Instagram. This event, along with many familiar cases, brought attention to the safety for the supporters and responsibility by the creators to make an overall enjoyable experience without PDFs lurking everywhere. There was no criminal case held for Jakishi and roams free today, living a life free of YouTube, but can never hide the truth within himself for the horrible behaviors he participated in. I never really watched Dream or even knew about Jakishi for that matter, but I just find it crazy how you can join the community of such a humongous YouTuber and basically your life changes. But instead of trying to make your image clean or get rid of bad habits, you go out of your way to talk to little kids. It will never make sense to me. The urge to talk to minors cannot be that powerful. Something I also don't understand is from the Vel PvP bomb threat incident in 2018. There were emails sent to over 1,700 schools in the UK threatening to bomb school grounds if money was not paid. And these emails were sent on the behalf of the popular Minecraft server Vel PvP. Someone who played on the server must have held a grudge of sorts and sent those emails. Vel PvP of course claimed they were spoofed. At the time in 2018, the 17-year-old CEO of the firm managing the server told the BBC that he suspected the hoax emails had been sent by a disgruntled Minecraft player in a bid to damage Vel PvP's reputation. education. The threats throughout schools in England created waves of panic, and many students were evacuated from schools and just about any college buildings because of the emails. It was later found out to be the 19-year-old George Duke-Cohan, which, quick sidetrack, that is probably the most UK name I think I've ever heard. He was arrested in his home 2 days after the emails were sent, and later was confirmed there were 2 batches of emails sent by George, the first one demanding the schools for $5,000 to be deposited in Vel PvP's account, and the second batch of emails to just be plain bomb threats without any ransom or demands whatsoever. Some of the emails claimed pipe bombs were hidden on school premises, and a car would even be driven at students. One of these emails sent to Marlborough College in Wiltshire said, "We follow in the footsteps of our 2 heroes who died in the Columbine High School shooting." Apparently, George Duke had a fascination with computer hacking and control over others using the internet. He's kind of like your stereotypical edgy wannabe computer hacker overlord, but instead he just sends bomb threats to people and maybe is a bit psychotic in the head, and also takes vitamin D supplements because he doesn't go outside that often.
You don't have any medication or anything that you need to come with you?
I take like the vitamin D supplement things. So like, we don't go outside often.
Apparently this all happened because of the disagreement between the owners of LPVP and George. I'm not sure of the specifics on the disagreement, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't enough to send bomb threats. And separate from the bomb threats, George also called the San Francisco airport, posing as a concerned father of a girl on board the United Airlines flight UAL 949.
Hello, Police Airport Bureau.
Hi there. I'm really getting frustrated here. My daughter just called me like 10 minutes ago, crying on the phone, saying that her flight was getting hijacked, and I haven't heard a single thing yet. I got hung up on
Her flight is getting hijacked.
She was crying. She said they were holding them hostage and that they were being pushed to the back of the plane, and one of them had a bomb.
I'm
Ones
just
look
there.
plastic, like plastic looking. They don't look like metal, like shiny or anything. They look plastic. One of the men had a bomb, and then it just cut out.
The aircraft with 295 passengers on board was quarantined in San Francisco airport for a full security check, and George Duke sent this tweet soon after. "Don't try and raid our members next time. 4 guys, 1 bomb back of the plane. 9/11 remake." What is wrong with this guy? Raid our members. I'm not sure if this is a Minecraft thing, but calling an airport claiming a flight has been hijacked just because you got raided in a video game is probably one of the most unjustifiable things I think I've ever heard. He was sentenced to 1 year in jail for the bomb threat email sent to the schools and 2 years for the airport security scare, landing him a total of 3 years in jail. There's also more information about him. I'll link all the articles in the description below, just in case you guys want to know more about these cases or the specific individuals. But this dude is a complete nut job. I'm not sure what possessed him to do half the shit he did. But that's what happens when you start getting on the game too much and start disassociating from reality. But then again, you wouldn't send bomb threats, so I'm not really sure what happened there. Well, lastly, we'll talk about probably the most disturbing one yet. It's about the story of JinBop, a Minecraft YouTuber who was pretty popular back in 2016. He would start his channel by uploading a lot of Minecraft content pertaining to simple let's plays with certain spin-offs or certain adventure maps he would download online. He would eventually associate with the Skydoes Minecraft crew and make several videos with them, like Try Not to Laugh, Cops and Robbers, and Death Runs. And around that time, Skydoes Minecraft was one of the biggest things on YouTube, hitting millions of views every video that he would upload. And around late 2016, JinBop, otherwise known as Starlit Zhao, sounds like an Elden Ring boss, engaged in some rather questionable actions with a 14-year-old female who was a big fan of his YouTube channel. And she would create graphics and voiceovers for his channel, and at the time in 2016, having over 400,000 subscribers. And the young girl's parents would eventually find out about their relationship by noticing strange patterns, like her wearing a locket with his picture around her neck, or finding out that she was purchasing lingerie in secret. Zhao would talk to the 14-year-old girl pretty often through Skype calls, and after the parents found out about her relationship with Zhao, they would obtain an audio where Zhao would ask her to strip her clothes off. Also in the audio, he would give advice on grooming her private area, and in the same conversation, he would acknowledge her age of 14 years old and would discuss meeting her in person to have sexual relations. The parents were severely concerned and would contact authorities. The FBI then observed the Skype call between Zhao and the minor, and this call was even worse than the other recordings. According to the affidavit, Zhao and the girl discussed oral sex as well as coercing her into showing her privates over Skype. And according to the agent in charge of this investigation, it met the federal definition of cheese pizza, or cyberpunk, or COD points, whatever you want to call it without actually saying it. Zhao was arrested in the Detroit Metro Airport where he was allegedly on his way to meet the young girl, Zhao being around 9 years older than her. He was jailed for around 6 years until he was released on June 2nd, 2022, and apparently to some users on Reddit, he's dating the same girl he groomed years ago, which of course now would be legal, but if true is just absolutely diabolical. JinBop hasn't uploaded since August of 2016 and has lost over 100,000 subscribers due to this scandal. I'm not really sure of his current whereabouts, but it's safe to assume that he will probably never come back, and now that he has a criminal record and investigated by the FBI, I would find it very hard to believe he has any job at the moment. And this is not a rare case at all. There are so many stories of Minecraft YouTubers talking inappropriately with younger children. I'm not really sure what having a Minecraft-based community does to you, but it never leads to something good apparently. Anyways, that's it for this video. I want to thank everybody who has made it this far. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you want. I'm definitely going to make more videos like this. I enjoy creating them a lot, even though they can be a bit disturbing sometimes. Anyways, be nice to others, drink more water, eat more veggies, and hopefully you don't get drafted into war. Have a good day.